All right, so this is part 2 of a tree tutorial. We're gonna go ahead and do more an advanced tree with branches and kind of looks like kind of like one with Tim Burton-esque looking. So I'm gonna go to face mode on a cube. I'm gonna pull this. I'm gonna scale it so I kind of have like a triangle here or pyramid. So I'm going to start off. This is going to be my trunk. So I want to just have a trunk where it's where it's going to go into the ground. Again, face mode. Just try to sculpt that out. Once I get kind of a pyramid that I like, I'm going to go back to face mode again, and I'm going to select this top one, and I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to extrude up. And as I extrude up, I'm going to scale inward a little bit each time. So I'm going to scale up and then extrude up a little bit. This is also when you can start making a curve of your tree if you want. So again, I'm going to go up again. I'm going to curve it. Press E and rotate that face while I'm extruding. Again, you could use this for like a coconut tree if you wanted to. If you wanted to have like a slant and then had coconuts. Again, I'm going to make some branches come off this, kind of like an old like one that you would see in like New Orleans or like I said like Tim Burton-esque. You can always press 3 to see what it looks like organically. If you want to make it organic, again, that kind of looks pretty good at the start. So now I want to have some branches pop off this. So one way of doing that, guys, is I can go back to that face mode, and I can hold Shift and extrude inward, and then I can extrude outward. And when I pull that out, I can make this branch as big or long as I want, or skinny. Again, so if I press 3, you can see what that looks like. Kind of goofy right now, but it's going to work. Again, I can press W. I can hold Shift and pull out some more. Just try to, even out that branch to give myself one, more geometry to work with, but two, some more shapes to work with too. So I got that going. Again, if I want to, I can press R and extrude inward a little bit, then press W and extrude outward to do some of the branch extensions here. Again, I'm using the scale tool and the move tool. If you get this thing where you get some weirdness, like that's a weird branch kind of, if you press 3, that looks kind of weird, you can always go back to face mode and just move that face inward a little bit and just resize it. You can also select the whole object of the shape and try to shape it that way to scale it. So now if you press 3, it's a little bit better looking on a branch. So if you need to add more detail, you can always go back to insert edge loop and add a couple more lines. If you want to have some more branches split off and you also want to scale the size of the branch so you don't have to deal with what I just did, you can always just make the branch size cut that you want first. The more you do that too, the more squared off your object will be. So the more lines you cut, when you're smoothing it will square it off. So if I want to square this off, I can add some more lines. So I'm going to go ahead and press 1 again, and I'm going to taper off this end by just using the scale tool. And again, just pulling it and just tapering it. So I got one branch I like. I can press 3 and look at it organic. It looks pretty good. Again, when you're in 3, it's just a preview. You don't have to lock it in yet. Down here to get that trunk back the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and extrude to square it off to get that in there. So there I got that. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude a little bit more up top. So again, I'm going to pull up, and I might actually go back the other way now. Again, I'm just trying to have fun, make it look like I said, like maybe something like out of New Orleans or Tim Burton or Jungle Book. Just add a whole bunch of branches that are kind of organically different shapes and differentiate. And I'm going to come down here maybe now. Actually, I'll come here and maybe have a branch come off this. So again, same technique. I'm going to hold Shift, extrude inward, press W and extrude outward. And now I can move this branch. And again, you can start pulling and extruding and scaling your branches. If for some reason you get somewhere and you're like, oh, that's really thick, you just go to face mode, keep in face mode, and just select the faces. And you can always just shrink certain parts of your branches. So again, I'm going to go ahead and use my that cut tool again. So I'm going to go back to insert edge loop, and I'm going to go ahead and cut right here and square it off a little bit more. But I'm also going to make it where I want some of the branches to go. from. So back, click out of that tool, otherwise I'm going to keep cutting. I'm going to go to face. And again, now, if I extrude off this, I can make some more branches. Again, scale a little bit. I'm going to go downward this time. Scale, press W, extrude. So again, when you're doing organic shapes like this, again, I'm in a smooth tool. I can press 1 to see what it looks like squared. You guys can keep it squared too. If you like that style being squared, you could use a square tool. If you like that tree looking, Robloxy, or, depending on your style of your scene, you might want to be squared off like this. Whereas, like, I kind of want to be organic, so I'm going to press, again, 3 to see what it looks like, what's called smooth. Now, to lock in the smoothness, if I'm going to use this for like a video game or another scene, to lock in this actual smoothness that I've created, I do need to select the object and go mesh smooth to lock in that smoothness. Otherwise, it's going to go back to that squared off look. And again, most trees aren't going to just be left or right, so I need to pull some this way too. So I'm going to go back to face mode, extrude. I might go up this time, get some branches going up into the sky. And all I'm doing, guys, is using the move tool and the extrude, and then holding shift to extrude to pull. And again, rotating the faces and moving them in the direction I want the branches to go. Again, making a tree like this can be time consuming, but it also does give you a lot of power over detail that you want to add to your tree. So just make sure that when you're shaping it, you're having fun. You might want to pull some reference off the internet, but again, you can just keep pulling until you get what you want to. So again, this is how you guys can make a really cool organic tree. You guys can add, leaves to it if you want, or you could leave it barren with nothing on it. It's up to you guys what you want to do. But this is how you guys can make a really cool organic tree with branches.